Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Mark O'Brien of CM First. Thank you very much for signing up for today's conference, not conference, but communication on our quarterly community meeting here. Every quarter we meet, hold a webinar on a variety of different topics. The one for today is going to concentrate on a conference recap and also debugging techniques. These are better debugging practices, which were highlighted by our attendees. So first, I've got wanted to introduce Roger Griffith to you, the user group president, who's going to talk about the conference results. And then we're going to have Kiyoshi Kurosawa and Mark Schroeder doing lightning talks. But first, I've got a poll question for you, and it's all about the recent conference, the 11th conference. My question for you is, did you attend the last conference live, which was held 22nd and 23rd of October? So please select one of the following options. Yes, I saw almost all of it. I saw some of it. I did view the videos of PowerPoints. We have an option for people to attend after if they weren't there live, or no, I didn't. It won't hurt our feelings if you say no. Just a few more seconds there. Remember, our panelists do not vote. People, only attendees. Okay, can we show results? So a third of you saw almost all of it, or some of it, like about 2/3. And no one has taken advantage of doing it afterwards. So for those of you who didn't attend, you can go on the site. We'll send a link out to everyone to let you partake in that. It's always something that for years people said, "Yeah, we want to be able to record the conferences." This is the first time we've actually been able to record them live and in every session in its entirety. So some housekeeping rules now. Next slide. So today's speakers, like as I said, is Roger. He's going to talk about the conference results, and then followed by two different lightning talks. Mark Schroeder will be actually talking first about doing debugging for RDI, and then Kiyoshi has got a technique using for .NET debugging. Also, everyone on the call today is going to get 2 holiday gifts, courtesy of the community. Going to get a T-shirt and also ball cap. So as I said, remember to type your questions into the webinar console. We'll answer them at the end. And here's the free T-shirt and the hat. And I'm going to turn it over to Roger, our user group president, who will give us a nice recap on the conference. Take it away, Roger.
Thank you, Mark. So we just are coming off of really one of the more successful conferences that we've had in the history of these conferences. And I'd like to thank everyone who participated in that, especially all the people who put all the work into organizing the conference, the speakers, organizers, and this type of thing. We had a total of 148 attendees, which is really remarkable, especially considering the times that we're in right now. So we feel like that was a tremendous turnout and really some great sessions. I mean, the content of this conference was really first class. I've heard a lot of great things from people about the conference and all the things that they learned, and just new things, new ways of using these tools to leverage our investment. These attendees came from all over the world. The only exception to that being Antarctica. We're not aware of any Plex or TUI shops in Antarctica, but other than that, we had really good representation from all over the world. If you were a speaker, you got a Stetson hat, and hopefully that is something that you'll wear proudly to show your pride in these tools. We raised $2,224 for Doctors Without Borders COVID Relief Fund, and that was tremendous. The other thing we did is we had at the end of the conference, we had a voting for the best session, and we had 4 different tracks, one of them being the Spanish only track. And so the winners of each of those sessions, there they are. For the Plex session, it was myself, Abram, Kiyoshi, and Andrew. And that was for the CA Plex deep dive session. I think it was actually the Plex tips and techniques session, so a little correction to be made there. On the TUI track, it was Russ Berkeley and Mark Schroeder for CA TUI tips and techniques. You go to the next slide. For the technology track, we have Rob McBride, building REST services on the IBM I using AWS and SQL. And the Spanish only track was Jose Sanchez for tips and techniques to enhance your Plex and web client products. So plaques are being made right now and are in the process of being sent out to all the winners. You should receive those soon. Another thing we're talking a little bit about, and that is kind of kicking around some ideas for the next conference that's hopefully going to be happening in November of next year. We're going to continue doing our quarterly webinars, and as always, we're always looking for speakers for these webinars, especially those of you who have significant amounts of experience with these Plex and TUI tools. So if you can just share your experience in these webinars, we're always looking for that. Even if you're only interested in maybe doing like a 10-minute lightning talk, we're more than happy to have you help us out with doing lightning talks. So you can reach out to me at info@plextui.com or roger@plextui.com if you're interested in helping us out being a speaker in a future webinar. Okay, so I mentioned that we're starting to think about the 2021 conference, and we'd kind of like to know from you whether or not you'd like to do another virtual conference, possibly at a site, maybe a hybrid of in-person and virtual in Austin, perhaps, or perhaps somewhere else. So I think we have a poll question maybe on that coming up here, but we're really starting to do some planning for this conference and get it started now. So Mark, I'm going to turn it back over to you to do the poll question.
It's up, and we give people about 45 seconds or so to answer it. So as Roger iterated, how should the fall 21 conference, the 12th conference, be held? Should it be 100% virtual? Should it be a hybrid of virtual and in-person in Austin, or a hybrid of virtual and in-person in another location? I wanted to say, was looking over the attendees, Roger, we had a great, as we said, we had a great dispersity from every continent except for Antarctica, and that was good because we've had lower attendance from Europe in the last several conferences. It was back up this time, even though they're doing a lot of the sessions into the evening. And one Italian speaker did something like at 10 o'clock at night his time, which is pretty cool. So let's look at those results. So more than half of you want to stick with a virtual format, but we got a nice response from doing it in Austin as well. So about a 60-40 split to do it hybrid or in person somewhere else. Obviously, we'll be looking at seeing how things play out with with the vaccines on the way and different countries rolling things out there to see what will happen. But we certainly have a lot to look forward to, and I'll be following up now that you've got that fall 21 conference idea in your head. I'll be following up with something else later on in the program. But now, what I'd like to do is switch over to the technical portion of the webcast, and that's going to be Mark Schroeder talking about debugging with using RDI as a tool, and then followed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. So, Mr. Schroeder, you've got the technical floor.
All right, sounds good. So today, let's see, can you see my screen yet?
Yes.
Okay, great. So today what I am going to do is, like Mark said, is I'm going to be talking about debugging with RDI. Let's get this going here. RDI is a tool. It's really good for debugging web services and batch programs. But you can debug anything ILE. You can also debug other things, but the way I'm showing you how to debug today is going to be targeted directly at ILE programs. So what we're going to talk about is just a quick overview of setting up RDI, what you can debug, the basics about debugging. I'm going to go through a series of screens that show you the process, and then we're actually going to have a demo on that. So first thing you need to do is you need to get RDI, of course. It is a product you have to purchase. It's an IBM product, but I found out recently that Help Systems, I think, is the one that is actually doing the development on it now. Then once you get the product installed, then you have to create a connection to your 400 or IBMI, and then you create a library filter. And the library filter allows you to find the programs within the library that you're wanting to debug. So very simple to set up overall. All right, so what can you debug? I'm going to be talking specifically about using service entry points. I'll get into that a little bit more as we go. But with service entry points, you can only debug ILE code. So it can be RPG-LE, CL-LE, Cobol-LE, CLE, any of the ILE programs, flavors that are out there on the IBMI, you can debug. Another requirement is the program cannot currently be running. You'd want to either stop it or have it be a program that is not running at the moment. So the reason is that the service entry point can't connect to the program if it's already running. Okay. So the basics are actually pretty simple. Programs must be compiled for debug, and if you're using a TUI model that's set up for you have the option to set it to debug yes, and it'll correctly compile your programs for you. If you're compiling something outside of TUI, you need to be sure that you have it, you actually compile it with the option for debug. And then the next step is you would set a service entry point. And this is just a way that RDI allows you to open a program when the program is called. So it'll make more sense to you as we go through some of the examples. With this, you can also have breakpoints, just like in any languages in Eclipse, because RDI is built over Eclipse. So you have all the same type of debugging capabilities that other languages have in Eclipse. Like I said, breakpoints and monitors and different things. I'll show you those as we go through the demo so that you can get a little navigation experience with that. And then this is one thing to remember is, say you're debugging and you find an error, so you want to recompile your program and then try it again. So the service entry point is going to stay there, but you need to be sure to refresh the service entry point. Otherwise, it's not going to actually catch correctly. So it's a very simple step. I'll show you in the demo how to do that as well. But so these are the basics of what you need to know. So like you see, there's not a lot. I mean, I know all of you have been doing some debugging in either STR debug or ISDB. So you have some experience with that, and that'll all that experience will transfer over to this very simply. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the screens. So what I've done here, if you look at the very top where it says MLS Work Gen, that is my library filter. And then underneath there, you see all these different programs. So what I've done is I did a right click on the one program, MQIYXFR, and then this pop-up screen comes up, and I go all the way down to where it says debug or code coverage service entry. And I click on that, and then it goes over to set service entry point. So all I have to do is click on that, and then it sets my service entry point for me. So that means that this program in this library run by this user, I actually had to change it because I was debugging service programs from the web. So I had to change my user because by default, it puts the user that creates the service entry point. I went in there and changed it to user QW service so that when this program in this library runs, then the debug is going to start up. So this is your service entry point right here. Now here this is a Postman. I'm testing get all messages, which is that service program I just showed you. And so I already have clicked on send, so it's sending the request over. And while that happens, then this screen pops up in RDI. And this is a screen that shows you what program it stopped at. It shows you down here the code that it stopped at. And then up above here, you can run the program, you can stop the program, you can do all your navigation features through the program. Besides that, you can add or remove a breakpoint. So you can just go to a line of code, do a right click on that line of code, and then you can add a breakpoint at that point. So it's very simple to do. I'm going to show you some nice things about breakpoints as we get into the demo as well. So this is one of the more important things that typically you're going to want to be able to do. The other thing you want to do is be able to tell what values are in a variable. So in order to do that, here this shows you where I put the breakpoint. So next one here is, all you have to do is go to your variable, in this case YL0002, do a right click on it, and it'll show you the value. So that's one way that you can see values for your variables. I'll be showing you another way here in just a bit as well. Okay, and I mentioned just a little bit ago that you have all the navigation that you typically have in any Eclipse debugging session. So it really makes it quite nice for debugging here. And then once we've gone through, and so say I went here and I clicked the run and I didn't have any breakpoints, so the program runs all the way through, then you see that finally we get our values. So that's a full process from setting a breakpoint, going in, or setting a service entry point, going into your program, setting a breakpoint, checking the value of your variables, and then proceeding to the end of the program, and then here is the final results. So we didn't really look at a lot of issues, but we went through the process flow of what you will do as you debug. So now I'm going to actually show you a demo. So let me see if I can get this set up well for us. I thought that maybe this would happen. I had this all set up for us, but then the session ended. Let's see. Guess I have to spell my name right. Okay, and I'm going to go into this model here. And it's just a quick little demo model. So I'm going to grab, let's see, this program right here. No, let's see, I had this program right here is the one I want to work with. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm showing you, this could be run as an interactive program or a batch program. I just want to show you how you can submit this. Okay. So there, I just submitted a job. At this point, nothing should happen because I don't think that the, yeah, see the service point had ended as well. So let me go ahead and get over to this. Nice thing is, RDI actually remembers what the last program is that you were working on. So here it has it highlighted. This is the same library filter that I used. In order to create a library filter, let me show you that real quick. You can go, let's see, I always have to look, new library filter. And then you just go here, put in whatever library you want, and then it will create that filter for you. So let me go ahead and just get back into the service entry point. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go down to set service entry point. And it takes a little bit because it has to gather all the information and get it ready for you. And you can bypass this screen, but I always like to keep it just so I know that my service entry point has been used or been set up. So here again, we have the library, this program in this library run by this user is what is going to be captured when you run this, by the service entry point. So let's go back over to our program here. So I'm going to submit this job. You know how normally with submitted jobs, you have to go find the job that's out there and go through a little hassle to get it. But here, all you have to do is submit the job. And now I'm not touching any keys right now. I just want to let you know. So then here, what happens is the debug perspective of RDI shows up. It shows up with the program that I just submitted. It has the code here. It actually has a breakpoint up here that I had previously worked with. So let's just run this to the breakpoint. So I'm coming down here. So I have my breakpoint right here. If I wanted to add another one, which I'm not going to, but I'll show you how, you can just click there, add or remove breakpoints. The other thing you can do is if you want, it will remember all the breakpoints you use for not just this program, but for all programs. So you can disable your breakpoint or enable it. Now here's an important little button, skip all breakpoints. I was having trouble earlier that my breakpoint wasn't stopping, and for some reason this little button had been clicked, so then I was not getting any breakpoints to happen. So while you're here, we see the breakpoints. Some other things we can do is variables. This shows you all the variables that are in this program. So like here, that one already has a value because I ran it previously. Then we have all the, in a large program, this would be pretty unmanageable. So what I recommend is using what's called a monitor. With a monitor, you can go and find any variable you want and put it up there. And I'll just step down this one into this one, and this is the variable. So now you see that you can see the value of it up here. Another thing you can do if you need, you can actually change this. This is IBM, or let's see, where was it? Yeah, there we are. So now I changed my variable value, so it would be different, you know, just like when we do that with ISDB and change the value of your variable. This is the process you would do in this case. So let's see. So we have variables, monitors, and breakpoints. These are the important tabs that you'd be using quite a bit. The other thing you can see is you can see an outline of your program right over here. You can see your parameters, subroutines, labels. So as you go through this, right in front of you, you have a lot of good information. You have your navigation capabilities, you have your monitoring capabilities, and by far it's the simplest way to start up a debug for a batch or a service program. Even let's see, even if you run it as a interactive job, it'll still catch up pretty easily as well. Why don't we just do that real quick? Just gonna grab this call right here. So now instead of running this in batch, I'm gonna run it in interactive. And so it does the same kind of thing. It brings up my debug screen, and I can just continue to debug this just like I did before. I can go and run to my breakpoint. I can add new breakpoints or whatever else I need to do in my debug process. So that's the end of my demo. I also included some resources in here for everybody because it is a new, I mean, it's relatively new to a lot of us 2E developers. I just started using it myself in the last couple of years, and it's been so great to use. Questions, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll be able to answer. Either I'll answer them or I'll give you an answer in the future. And so that's all I have for my presentation. So Mark, you can grab it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I just noticed that if you're some more information, if you're an IBM Passport user or customer, you can get a free 60-day trial of RDI from IBM. Our next speaker is going to be Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And Kiyoshi's a little shy. We didn't have a picture for him, but people should listen up because he's going to describe how to do this same kind of troubleshooting with a .NET function.
Okay, do you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Okay, so today, Plex has multiple languages, C#, C++, Java. Today I go through the C#, .NET, but yeah, of course, the other people are using other language have interest, so we have tip and techniques for that area too. But please contact us if there's a demand. We can do either this kind of webinar or maybe other chance of privately or those. But anyway, so yeah, my name is Kiyoshi Terasawa. So I'm working for the CA Plex for a long time enough, and I kind of knew the .NET inside out for Plex. So just to show some debugging, how to debug C# function today. So just get started. So lots of concept is similar with what already Mark shows, but just using different IDE, Visual Studio. So that's Microsoft friend. Okay, so for this demo, I'm using Visual Studio 2019, which technically it doesn't matter which variation. So you could use community, you could use professional if you have. So it doesn't matter. You can use 2017, etc. So that's really not restricted. And the Plex 721. So again, it's just greatest, but you could use 7.1 or 7.0. It really doesn't matter. So all versions should do the same thing. Unlike C++. So C++, of course, you know, there's some limitation of the version stick to with Visual Studio. So, okay, so debugging, why? I think this applies both Java and .NET. So there's no AD debugger from Broadcom CA, and it's never happened. We know that, and yeah, just it's a pretty that's action diagram debugger itself written by a C++, so Plex C++, actually. So converting to .NET or Java version, and yeah, it probably doesn't give like similar level of what the other regular IDE, like Eclipse, Visual Studio, or Visual Studio Code, etc. Probably never happen. So that's why I think it's just good to do with a native environment. And also, anyway, it's a good skill to know, just in general. So that's a two thing. Okay, well, debugging. So it makes it easy, faster to find the cause of problem. You see the exception in the code level, or you see the value, etc. So basically just same as what the mark shows. You can see the variable, you can put the breakpoint, you can do lots of things. Also, the other just side benefit is you can use that environment to prototype a source code object. So as you know, the Plex source code editor is very plain text editor. It's no help, nothing. It's just a notepad basically. So even these days like a notepad or those guys give some more useful information, but the Plex source code editor is really no help. So but once you have debug environment, and then you can just open any source which Plex generate, and then you can prototype like a syntax of your source code you are trying to do, etc. Then you get the free help of IntelliSense and the syntax check, etc. So you could copy paste what you prototype, and the good thing you may be able to test by running, and then maybe copy back to the source code object. So in the Plex, so that's other benefit. Also, yeah, debugging environment for this guy. So I show you. So the exit project is just the home of everything. So you could build from there. You can publish. You can set up quick ones, etc. So it's just a start point, and then it's not just for debugging. You may be able to manage better way to publishing or deploy your application. Okay. So just a couple of screenshots. So well, breakpoint and navigation. So this is really different way to show what Mark showed in the Eclipse. So there's a navigation bar, step, in step over, step into, step out. So the three action is always available, and you can put the breakpoint to that. When it's hit, it stops. Just nothing special for this. It's just a general idea. And the variables, so you can see the variables value depth. Little more than RPG debugging probably, but so you can see the class, because .NET or Java or C++ is object-oriented. So you have a bunch of current value, both for your function itself, right here, but it has lots of information you never seen. But as far as it's defined, as locally in your function, or even the Plex runtime, which has public declaration, and then you see it. So you can see the sum of the value currently held by a Plex runtime too. Right here, DB manager. So these are the runtime provided by Plex. So those you can see the value. Of course, you cannot control, but at least you may be able to see that to more deep troubleshooting if you want. And of course, the call stack. So that's the other thing. So you see the okay, currently hitting this breakpoint, but of course it's calling nested method, from entry point. So you can see the whole call graph. And these 4 line here, 5 line, well, 4 line here is like a Plex runtime, but even though it has a line information, how it's reading, of course you cannot see the source because we don't have it, but you can see how it's reaching to this line and then currently hit. So this gives some idea of things. Okay, how to set up? I do some short demo, but a very simple 2-step basically. Well, maybe 2-step in the 2-step with Plex and with Visual Studio. And with Plex, it's very simple. So just to build your function, just usual way. So that's anyway you're doing. So using Plex build or maybe code library wizard. So it doesn't matter. So you just build your functions. And then the entry point function. So you create exit. So the exit for the Plex is I don't go too deep, but this is just a wrapping entry function calling sources embedded. So it's really exit program project or whatever is empty, almost empty. So just we can use as placeholder. We can start a point. I mean, I say only once because this degenerate will the build exit will mess up what you already set up. So just to create exit once, then you can continue down the build the DLL or function itself. So you can repeat this, but the exit creation can be once. Okay. Now once you create it, so you can open that project Plex generate by Visual Studio, and then you just add other project and then add the reference. So these 3 steps in the Visual Studio, I think it's ready to do. So I used the 2 project, but that's a final very simple final look and feel on the Visual Studio. Okay, so now I'm going to do the demo. So this is Visual Studio, I think 2019, I believe. Yep. So I'm using professional, but as I said, it can be community, it can be enterprise, of course. So that really doesn't matter. Now, gonna open. So if I go to Gen folder, so this is your Gen folder, which Plex is normally generate, and you have source folder underneath for Java or C#, and then there's a couple of projects as you can see. So this is a local model name project, and also one for the project exit CS project. So that's the one that we this is built when you do the exit creation, and this is the one Plex generate when you build any functions. Okay, so now just want to open that project from here. Open project solution. Come here. Okay, so it's naturally filtered because I'm trying to open the project or solution, so you can see it. So I can open exit solution or exit CS project, which probably doesn't matter which one you open. So now if I open it, so it's open the project which Plex generated. By the way, the Plex, or if you know the C++, Plex generate a similar project and then just open the Visual Studio IDE and then continue compile by scrolling, etc. But for .NET, Plex doesn't do that. It's just using a utility called MS Build. So it's just a MS build solution. That's a kind of basic parameter they doing the build. And then you see kind of those like scrolling up and down. But inside, actually, MS Build take a parameter of the same project. You can open in the Visual Studio, or I mean, it can be used for the batch build. So anyway, so we have an executable available here, and so this itself contains just one source. Well, I don't go too deep, but one source, and the only thing is it's pointing to the executable name. So everything is I think probably same. It's nothing different. So if you switch this name, this exec can call any other UI function, by the way. So, but that's how the executable project is generated. Even this has a bunch of things, include a bit images which use for the, icon on the top and the differences, etc. But this just have a very template-like project. Now, two-step I mentioned, so I need to add existing project because we know that exists. So we can add this other project to this solution. So if I add that, so you see that the functions solution, function project is added, and then you can see all the source code Plex generates is underneath. Okay, so one more step. So just add a reference. So just click the reference and add the reference, and then if you have a different thing to do, but select the project selection and then check that. Okay, now what's happened is so you see this one is added. So this project and that had added duration. So this project takes this solution using this guy. So that way you can, if you build this guy, it's also build this guy for any change, and also you can debug. It's automatically find out the differences and so on. Okay. Now, to start the debug, you have a multiple entry. So there's a debug and start new instance, or you can start from here, or yeah, there's a multiple way. I think one thing you may be careful is probably by default it's a release, so just change to debug. Okay, then if I click that, okay, I know that's gonna happen, so that's why I have backup plan. Okay, I have preset up environment, so it's very exactly same, so I can go through. Okay, it's already hit some breakpoint. So one of the benefits of debugging is there's an init method, which is actually invoked by here, etc. But main method and panel init. So even I think C++, maybe it's hard to reach to this kind of place, which before it's reaching the action diagram point. So this is the prior step to hit the execute your function. So this is pre-step, and well, we don't care what's going on here, but so you can do step by step, and then same time you see the variable here, like lots of things. At here, like this means this is instance of your function panel, and it has actually, because it's UI, lots of UI component and etc. is displayed, which probably too much information, but that's how it is. And it has owner function you find here. So the owner function is actually function itself. But I don't go too much detail, but you can put another breakpoint. If you go continue, then it's going to the next one, but I'm not putting anything. So you see this tiny pop-up coming. And if I click any button, so it's hit the event handler, then you can just step by step. And then this is like action diagram code. So you see it, and because I clicked maintain employee event, so that's why it's come inside, and it's tried to call another function. Okay, I put the breakpoint, and if I use step into here, now you can step into the next function which we are invoking. Okay, so you can go from function A to function B now. So and then you see the call graph of this is project and this is TRDHF. So you can move just clicking at this point, and then you can see the whole navigation path, and then you can see the variable at the moment of that point as well. So you can see the variable for in the current stop point. This means T8, I mean D8F, but if you go back to previous point, that this is project. So you can just change, and you can see the moment value of at the moment of breakpoint. Okay, so I stop now, I think. Okay. Okay. So yeah, clear line, just a summary. So you manage the exit project, you only change your exit project, you don't change anything else. And general build continues. Well, you can just generate in theory from Plex, you don't need to build. So when you start debugging, you can get a build. And yeah, this is just use a Visual Studio Debugger is anything better than waiting for nothing happen. So you get a bunch of things you don't get. Well, we know that how to debug Plex Java, which we internally doing quite a lot. And this could be very elegant, same as similar with what we do for the .NET. So, but C++ is yes, we could do the Visual Studio debugging. It's not elegant as what we show, but it's still very helpful to do the debugging. More information you get than the action diagram debugger. Okay, so that's my end of presentation. And if you have any question, request, contact us or maybe type in the question. Okay, that's my part of presentation. Thank you.
Great job, Casey. Certainly was a lot of information to digest. So,
If you have questions, you want me to read them off, Mark?
yeah, please do so, John.
Okay, so a couple here, technical, I guess. We'll start with those. I guess this will be for Mark Schroeder. So I'm new to SQL and 2E. I'm trying to set some columns to allow null values. Is there any way to do that in the model? Say RP4 edit file supporting null values. What do you think, Mark Schroeder?
Yeah, 2E has still has issues with null values. I actually haven't really used null. We basically use spaces on the IBMI. Even though SQL can use null, I don't know if anyone else has had experience with that, but I haven't had a need to use null, so I don't have an answer right now. I could look it up and try some samples myself and get back with you on that.
That'd be great, Mark. Yeah, if anyone has any advice, yeah, you can send a note to info@plex2e.com. We'll make sure that gets distributed to everyone on call as far as null values, and as well as Mark may find out.
Right.
Question for Roger. Question came in saying it could be in the next conference could be the fall of 2021. Are we looking at September, October, November?
I think November is the month we would target, but I think we have some flexibility. But I would say, generally speaking, probably November.
Okay.
Here's a question for, I guess, Kiyoshi about they're interested in doing debugging for C, C++. Is there any training available for that?
Yeah, I think so. I just need to organize the more customer-friendly documentation, but yeah, we have tips, so we can do.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, anyone has any questions on debugging that come up afterward, just send another note in, info@plex2e.com, or directly to Kiyoshi, and we can, or Mark Schroeder, we get that addressed.
Also, everyone will get a recording of the webinar, so you'll be able to see that process. So just throwing a lot of information at you in a short period of time here. So at this point, we have one more poll question, I believe. We work with Broadcom each quarter. So for the next webcast, which would be in Q1, probably February, could be early March. Would you like to see tips and techniques, or something on security, something on automation? We're looking at application automation there, or cloud rehosting. Which of those topics is more meaningful for you? And again, organizers and panelists are out of this one.
Mark, probably you don't present in your screen for the pool, last pool.
Give people a few more seconds to respond. Okay, we'll close the voting out. Just what everybody's voted. Tips and techniques, again, is a big winner. And then second, interesting cloud and rehosting. Timely topic that was well attended at the conference as well too. So, and then followed by security and automation pulling up the rear. So, at this point, this concludes our webinar for today. And as John said, if you have any questions about anything that you saw on the either regarding the input for the next conference, as well as feedback or questions for Kiyoshi or Mark Schroeder, send them to info@plex2e.com. Thank you for coming, everybody. Happiest of holidays, everybody. And who knows what, if you thought 2020 was interesting, I guess wait, fasten your seatbelts and wait for 2021. Thank you. We had 30 something attendees on there at one point.